Welcome back to Harbour Unboxed for another episode of Unboxing Boxes. As usual, plenty of boxes and packages and things to unbox. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. I'm going to start with this box here because this is a special little box and it comes from a long-time Harbour Unboxed viewer. So on the box here we have a cool little sticker that says Sky Soldier Blades. Now Sky Soldier Blades is owned by Ted, who is as I said, a long-time Harbour Unboxed viewer. Ted seems to enjoy the Unboxing Boxes series. And well, more importantly, Ted is a paratrooper out of the US Special Operations, US Army Special Operations. He's been in for about 6 years now, and in that time he's worked with some Aussie Special Forces guys as well, so that's pretty cool. And in fact, it was a member of the Australian Special Forces that introduced Ted to Harbour Unboxed, so that's really cool, and I'm honoured to have these guys watching the channel. I was really blown away when Ted told me that. Really, really cool stuff. In his spare time, Ted founded his own company, which is Sky Soldier Blades, and as the name suggests, they're a bit of they're knife specialists, let's say, and as such, Ted has no doubt been suffering through the Unboxing Boxes series as I struggle to open boxes with my cheap multi-tool. That being the case, he has generously offered to send me some cool knives for quite some time now. So we recently got in contact directly and I gave him my address. We discussed a few things and he sent over a box of knives for Unboxing Boxes. So without wasting any more time, I think we should open this box and hopefully I will be doing so with my cheap, crappy multi-tool for the last time. All right, let's get into it and see what Ted has sent me. Very excited to see what's in here. I know it's some knives, I just don't know what sort of knives. And full disclaimer, I am not a knife expert, which is obvious. Anyway. That's cool, a Velcro little label. It says, "Don't bring a gun to a knife fight." Very good, I like that. Okay. So we have two boxes inside the shipping package, and one is for me and one is for Tim. We have a large knife apparently and what still looks to be a rather large knife. Okay, so we got a neat little pouch here, and this is a Medford knife, and I'm a knife noob. I don't know anything about knives, but I believe this is a pretty special knife, and you guys who know anything about knives are probably sitting there going, wow, that's a pretty special knife. So let's see what we've got here. Wow. This is quite the upgrade. Yikes. Okay, so I'm going to have to be careful with this and definitely cut away from myself. Not like what I was doing with this thing. Yeah. Right, so apart from the fact that, I probably shouldn't throw this around too much, be careful with it. Apart from the fact that this is a folding knife from Medford, I can't really tell you too much about it, which is, a bit disappointing. Head over to Ted's website. I'll put a link for this particular knife in the video description. I don't know how much it costs, but it seems like a very premium knife. All right, so one of these is for me and one of these is for Tim. I pretty much get to decide. So we'll see what's in this box here. And this one is from Buck Knives. So we'll see what we got. Neat little pouch. Ooh, a bit fancy looking. Wow. I feel like I probably have to be more careful with this one. That's cool. You guys can see the design. I'll provide some B-roll, but that's impressive. It looks really, really cool. And then it's got a little push button here that you push and then the blade folds away. And then there's a button there. You obviously want your hands clear of the blade when you push that because it flies out quite aggressively. Wow. Now the question is, which one of these do I use first to open the next package? Well, I definitely have to fold them away in between opening boxes and not leave the blade out because I could lose a finger. So I'd just like to give a big thanks to Ted for sending these knives out. I now have the difficult decision of picking which one of these I want to keep and which one I will give to Tim because they're both very awesome. Also, for those of you interested, I'll be sure to link Ted's website in the video description. And yeah, just a big thanks for generously supplying these knives to Harbour Unboxed for Tim and I to use. Really appreciate that. I can't even talk. Really appreciate that. These are just awesome. And also, just finally, as a PC enthusiast, Ted now also builds performance PCs. So if you want a mean gaming rig built by a real-life paratrooper, then head over to skysoldierblades.com and they'll sort you out. All right, moving on. Now it's time to test these guys out. I've actually got a big package here from PC Case Gear with quite a few things that I want. So we'll quickly get into that and then I'll check the other stuff out. All right, we have a product box. I'll use the flip out knife first. You ready? All right. Whoa, okay. No pressure required. Wow. Yes, I'll have to be very careful with this thing. Okay, just quickly, I got to the Core P3 sent over via PC Case Gear from Thermaltake, and that is for my personal Threadripper build. There'll be more information on that, but at the moment I am using the Threadripper 1950X as my main rig. I have been for a while now, and I'm loving it, but it's about time I did a proper build. At the moment, it's not really built into anything. It's just sitting at the end of my desk on a bit of foam. So I've been using it like that for a few months now, so I thought it's about time I stopped being lazy and actually did a build. So it's going in this, but more on that later. All right, here we go. Let's see how the tape holds up. Yep, doesn't really put up much of a fight with that blade. I think Ted and his knives is just making the unboxing experience too easy. All right. Well, we've got a lot of gear in this box. Here we go. Lots and lots of really awesome looking sleeved cables. CryoRig C7, CableMod stuff. Alright, we're going to have to pay a bit of attention to this. Ooh, I like these blue cables. So these are, this is an extension kit. So you basically use your PSU cables that came with your PSU, tack these guys on the end, and these are the parts that'll pop out and you'll see in the build. And they're nice, thick sleeved cables. They look great, and the combs work really well with these. There's a few more combs included. So yeah, I'm probably going to use these in my Threadripper build in the Core P3. They've also sent along some black and red sleeved cables, which will no doubt make their way into a build soon. All right, let's give this guy a go. So we have 2 boxes of the CableMod Pro Series cable kits. How do I open these without destroying the box? There we go, like that. All right. So these particular cables are designed to work with Corsair power supplies, because I have mostly spare Corsair power supplies at the moment, and they'll be being used in my next few builds. And so these aren't extension cables. These replace the cables that came with your PSU, so you have nice individually sleeved cables straight from the power supply unit all the way to the motherboard or whatever you're connecting them to. But yeah, they feel extremely high quality, really nice. But yeah, very keen to do a build with these. I don't have any pricing information or anything like that for you guys, but I will provide links to buy these in Australia and the US in the video description. And I've got another kit of black cables here. So anyway, they're going to be very handy for all my upcoming builds. All my builds now are going to have nice sleeved cables. So thank you PC Case Gear for sending over the CableMod cables. And I also got the CryoRig C7, and that will be for... I'm actually going to try and squeeze that in the InWin show pan. I'm doing a Raven Ridge APU build shortly, so we'll see how that goes. Not sure if it fits, but we'll find out. I think Brian managed to get one in his build for the giveaway PCs that we're doing, so it probably does fit. Okay, we'll grab... we'll go with this white package next, and we will cut it open. Ooh. Got to be careful of the products in the packages with those knives. and count fingers every time I use it. But, okay, what do we actually have here? The Plantronics Rig 800LX. So I believe this is their new wireless headset. Yep, 24-hour battery, so that would probably mean they're wireless. And this is possibly... No, I think this is for... It says Xbox all over it, but I believe this can work with PC. Well, it obviously works with PC, but PlayStation, all that. They've just got the Xbox branding on it. Anyway, let's pop it open. Without cutting a finger off. Whoa. And have a look what's inside. Ooh. Yeah, they're very much over ear. They hold on incredibly well. How do I get this off? Alright, so I believe this is Plantronics' latest headset, and I have no idea what the pricing is. It's not available in the US or Australia yet, at least any of the retailers I checked, which was pretty much all of them. So, pricing information to come. If it's available by the time you see this video, the links will be in the video description. But yeah, extremely comfortable. And as I said, it is a wireless headset, so you've got this little, if I can get it out of the box. Oh, there we go. This little box here, so this connects via USB to your computer and then wirelessly connects to the headset. The headset themselves, how they say, Plantronics says it has a 24-hour battery. It's got a 1500 milliamp battery inside it. And as you'd expect, it's got a 10-meter range. And it takes 30 minutes to charge the battery for 3 hours of use. So, yeah, if it goes flat, 30 minutes will get you by for a 3-hour session, so that's not too bad. All the controls to control volume, mute the mic, all that sort of stuff are on the headset themselves, so you'll have to get pretty familiar with them and know what buttons you're touching. Like previous versions that use this frame, it is a modular frame, so you can pop the cans out and change them that way for sort of the different shape and size heads. You've got a nice soft band here that supports really well. I'm surprised they don't feel like they grab your head that tight, but they are hold on probably as good as any headset I've ever tried before. Yeah, they don't move or wriggle or anything at all. Even when you throw your head around quite aggressively, they hold on really well. I probably look a bit silly doing all this one, trying to describe how it feels, but whatever. And then also you do have a non-removable microphone, but that's fine. It folds away. I kind of like the way you don't have to unplug it or whatever to make it, get it out of the way. So it just folds down nicely. Put it off to the side here slightly, and it should sound quite good. So yeah, these feel really solid, but I'll give them a whirl later and see how they go. All right, let's get into this bag here and see what we got. All right, the products are down that end, so we're safe to give it a go. Ooh, hello. The new Samsung 860 Pro and 860 EVO SSDs. I've been wanting to get my hands on these, and it looks like I finally have. So they're the 500GB and 512GB versions. I haven't obviously tested these yet, but I've seen a few reviews on them. The performance seems to be quite good. They are actually very similar in terms of performance, except the Pro model is significantly more expensive. The Pro version uses 64-layer 3D MLC VNAND, so MLC being key there, whereas the EVO version uses the TLC stuff. It's still 64-layer 3D VNAND, it's just TLC. So the endurance the endurance rating is half that of the equivalent size. So the 512GB version, whatever the endurance rating is for this, I don't actually have it on hand. This will be half that. So this is basically going to last longer. As far as I'm aware though, performance is very much the same. They both saturate the SATA interface, the serial ATA 6 gigabits per second interface. And that being the case, because I think really even the endurance of this model is very good, the EVO is probably going to be the model to get. And as I said, it is significantly more affordable. Whereas you're paying just $150 US, and that's for the 500GB model. So $150 US for the EVO, that works out to be about $240 Australian. This model here is $250 US. And yeah, I thought that was a pricing error, but it's $345 Australian. So $100 more for basically the same capacity, the same performance, you just get better endurance. So for the kind of users they're targeting with the 860, it's not like enterprise or even extreme high-end stuff. That'll be a 960 Pro. So this is your more mainstream stuff. It is just SATA, so I don't really see the point of the Pro series. Of course, I haven't tested them or reviewed them yet, but just on paper and the pricing, this makes no sense. Anyway, I won't go on about them too much. These are the 2.5-inch versions. They come in M SATA and M.2 2280 form factor. So I'll probably do some sort of review on these shortly. Alright, actually I'll put this knife away for a moment and we'll try out the little guy again. Whew, let's go for it. Got to be very careful not to plunge too far into the box with these knives, because yeah, that could end badly. Alright, we've got some paper. Ooh, hello. We've got some Arctic coolers and fans and thermal paste. Alright, so I don't think we featured any Arctic coolers on the Harbour Unboxed channel before. I've certainly used their products, not recently, but I've used them in the past. So we have some MX4 thermal compound. That'll come in very handy for benchmarking CPUs. And we have Bionics F120 fans, so a pair of those, and it looks like they're the white-black version. And we have the Summer Light, it looks like it's a USB fan. Let's have a quick look at that. I think this is a desk fan. Yeah, it looks like it would be a desk fan. So we've got a little flexible steel arm here. Don't know how well you guys can see that, but I'm going to leave that there. It's blowing some nice cool air on me, so that's convenient. All right, we'll jump into this guy because this is a popular item at the moment, the Freezer 33 eSports edition. So kind of interesting to put the eSports into it. But anyway, that aside, this is a really good value, really high quality cooler. So as the box gave away, I have the yellow version. You can also get it in white, green, and I believe red. So with the highlights there. So you can see that it's actually pretty much just the fans that have the highlights. So if you put the white fans on, it becomes black-white. So on the base here, we have 4 direct touch copper heat pipes. That would give you pretty good coverage on a Ryzen or a Coffee Lake CPU. As you can see, it is a 120mm tower style cooler with a push-pull fan configuration. Pair of 120mm fans, and they are fluid dynamic bearing fans. So high quality fans. They should last a long time and be reasonably quiet. And the heatsink is made up of 49 fins, and they're all 0.5 mm thick. So plenty of fins there. And the great thing about this cooler is that out of the box, it does support the AM4 platform and all the Intel platforms. There is a custom Threadripper version as well of this cooler. And Arctic say it can dissipate up to 320 watts of heat, though they recommend only using it with CPUs with TDPs up to 160 watts, which is still pretty extreme. So as I said at the start of the unboxing of this cooler, it is a very popular item. It's basically because of the price, and it is a high quality cooler. As I've just said, it's got a pair of high quality fans, nice big heat sink, it supports all the latest platforms, and it's only $33 US. So certainly one of the better coolers priced under $40. So with the heatsink, you just get the little satchel type packet thing, or separately you can buy a nice big tube if you plan to do a bit of overclocking, install it, remove it, reseat it, all that sort of stuff. The tubes are much more handy than the satchels. These are sort of a one-time only deal. And then just finally, before we move on, we have some fans. Right, so these Bionics F120 fans are the same fans you'll find on the Freezer 33. So if you want to match your case fans to the fans on the CPU cooler, then you can buy these individually and stick them in your case. And for those of you that don't like all the flashy RGB lighting or just LED lighting in general, then this will be a breath of fresh air because these don't feature any kind of lights. But even so, despite the lack of3 it's still a fancy looking fan. All right, that's pretty much all that. We'll get this out of the way. What have we got? 3 more boxes. All right, we'll use the little guy again, and we will get into this big box. AMD have sent over a Threadripper 1920X because I don't have a 1920X at the moment. So I've got one of those now. We won't waste any time on that though. That's just for benchmarking. And we have another package here. We have the Blue Yeti Blackout Edition, and this is the USB model. Ultimate Professional USB Microphone. Okay, well, I've heard plenty about the Blue Yeti microphones, but I've never actually seen one in the flesh, and I have to say it is a big, heavy mic, but it certainly feels very high quality. The base is steel, the frame is steel, and then the microphone itself is wrapped in some kind of metal. So this USB version of the Yeti costs $130 US or $170 Australian, which seems very reasonable for this type of microphone. And I have the blackout version, the black version. It also comes in grey, white and silver. There are a few dials and knobs and things on the microphone. So on the back here we have gain, which is quite easy, I should say, to move around. So that is an analog dial there, so you can increase or decrease the gain very easily. And then under the gain button we have a button labeled pattern. Basically that changes the pattern of the microphone, how it picks up audio. So I don't have the exact pattern information here based on these little icons, but I can sort of guess. So well, it's actually quite difficult to turn, which is good because you probably don't want to accidentally knock that while using it. But you can change it to sort of like a dual broadcast mode by looking at this, so it'll pick up sound from the front and back side, so you can have a conversation with someone at opposite sides of a table, or you can set it up to pick up audio just directly in front of it, so this side. But yeah, there are 4 different patterns you can choose from in total. Then on the front side we have volume for monitoring, so for your headphones, and then a mute button. For those of you wondering, there is also an XLR version of this mic, and I actually do want to get my hands on the XLR version because that's probably the one that Tim and I would use for our live stream. But this particular version is USB, so it just connects directly up to your computer. But anyway, yeah, I'm shocked by how big this microphone is. I've got my Rode NT1 up here, and it is significantly smaller. But anyway, keen to give it a go, and Tim and I will use that on the next live stream, and you guys can let us know how it sounds. I've been trying to get my hands on one of these for a while now. Excellent, this is really going to improve things. So as you guys know, for a lot of videos, I provide gameplay footage. I capture gameplay with on-screen statistics and all that kind of stuff. And when I have to do it in 1440p or 4K or anything above 1080p basically, I have to use Relive or Shadowplay. So there is a bit of overhead with that, and that's not ideal. I would rather use some sort of dedicated capture device, and well, now I can. Elgato has sent over their 4K 60fps model, what's known as the 4K 60 Pro. So this is a PCI Express capture device. You put this in your main capture rig, then you input in the PC you want to capture the footage from, and you can then record it from the capture PC. So very cool indeed. So there's the card itself, and you've got your HDMI in and out there, and one high quality HDMI cable is included. But yeah, anyway, keen to put that into my capture system and check it out, see how well it works. You'll probably see that footage in a video later this week. And for those of you wondering, it's $390 US or 550 Australian dollars. So it is an expensive bit of kit, but it also does what most capture devices can't, and that is capture 4K footage and do so at 60 FPS. So a bit specialized there. Alright, time to check out the last product, and this is the Deepcool Barron Case Liquid. And I saw this at Computex last year. We're not that far off Computex this year, and I'm finally getting my hands on it. So anyway, let's open it up and take a look. Alright, so we have the white version of the Barron Case Liquid, and this particular model sells for $140 US or 230 Australian dollars, so it does make it a fairly pricey case, but it is all metal, so that's an important thing to remember there. So the whole front panel steel, the top panel steel, this little sort of almost handle looking device at the top is steel. And then the side panel is tempered glass. So it is very high quality. You've got a steel panel on the left side or right side, depending on how you look at it. And one of the very cool features of this case, as sort of is suggested by the name, it comes with a pre-installed liquid cooling system with a 120mm radiator stuck in the top, and it also has a cool flow meter right here, and that will be lit up and you'll be able to see it through the case door when everything's set up. But I'll take the door off and talk a little bit more about what's inside. The internal design of this case will probably surprise a few of you. It is quite a small case, and just by looking at it, you'd probably think it supports micro ATX motherboards, but you would be wrong. It supports full-size ATX boards, and it does that through a very unique internal design. Pop. Whoop. We're good. We're good. Okay. I'm quickly running out of room in here. I've thrown stuff everywhere. Alright, so normally in a case you would have the power supply in the basement here, the bottom, possibly up the top here, but in this particular case it is in neither spot. There is a power input at the back here, but as you can see there's sort of nowhere to put your power supply. That is because the power supply actually goes up in the top here at the front. So a bit strange, a bit unusual, certainly very different, but that's how they've managed to put the full-size ATX motherboard here. It goes right down the bottom and there is no power supply in the bottom. You can see the power cable runs around and goes up to the front here, and then the power supply goes up in here and you connect it up that way. So quite different. I don't know how well it works, I haven't built in it yet, but I would like to. And then to lock the liquid cooler in place, they've installed a plastic sort of bracket here, so you'd have to remove that, put your motherboard in, and then you can put the water block on top of your CPU. And like the white themed case, it is a white water block, but everything in this case is pretty much RGB. So the flow meter is RGB, the 120mm fan on the 120mm radiator is RGB, the liquid cooler is RGB, and there are light strips in the front panel here, and they're also RGB. So loads of RGB options on this case, so it'll look pretty spectacular all lit up. Yeah, really unique kind of case. And I like the fact that it's an all-metal body. There's no plastic anywhere. And when I saw it at Computex, the LED lighting and all the effects and all that came together really nicely. So yeah, I'd like to do a build in this. I'm not sure what or when, but if we can build something in this case, I think that'd be pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think anyway. And well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Unboxing Boxes. A lot of cool products this episode. Really enjoyed using my new knives. Big thank you to Ted from Sky Soldier Blades. These things are just phenomenal. Can't wait to play with them a bit more. But yeah, really cool knives. But now I have the issue of working out which one of these I actually want to give to Tim, because to be honest, I don't want to give either of these to Tim. He might have something to say about that. But anyway, maybe you guys could let me know in the comment section below which one of these knives you would like to see me using for future Unboxing Boxes episodes. Maybe Tim and I could swap every now and then. I do like the black knife though, the fold out knife, very cool. But anyway, I'll leave that to you guys to decide. Oops. I'm keen to go get my Threadripper build put together, and I'll probably use these cables because these CableMod cables look pretty amazing. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of Unboxing Boxes. I'm your host, Steve, and I'll see you again next time.